Good morning, sir. Good morning. Okay, I just got the word from Mr. Q that we are live and we're recording, so we are ready to go. So with that said, let's start our meeting. Welcome, everyone. Today is Wednesday, October 7th. It is 10:04 a.m. This is City of Miami regular city commission meeting, but virtual. Madam Clerk, if you will read into the record how everyone can participate via Zoom, please.
Yes, good morning. To participate in the virtual commission meeting, the public may join the meeting via Zoom at https://zoom.us/j/3255236059 to access the virtual commission meeting by phone. First dial 1-301-715-8592. When you connect, a machine will ask you for the meeting ID, then dial 325-523-6059, followed by a pound sign. Wait a few minutes until the host accepts and gives you access to the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Madam Manager, for the invocation, please. All rise.
All rise. Thank you. Let's bow our heads this morning and pray to our Almighty Father and come to him to give him thanks and praise, for without faith we have nothing. We pray for our nation. We pray for our spiritual and physical healing. We pray for peace in times of distress. Today we pray especially for the family of Miami police officer Aubrey Johnson, who passed away in the line of duty at such an early age. We pray for the family of so many officers in the country who have lost their lives while serving and protecting, so that their families can find peace and resolve during these difficult moments. We pray for leadership and for guidance so that our city leaders can make the best decision in the interest of the community that they serve. We pray for our military personnel, all of our first responders who keep us safe each and every day. We pray for all our city residents, especially for those that are ill, so that they can find comfort during difficult moments and so that they can be healed. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Madam Manager. Mr. Garcia, would you do me the honors and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, sir? Is Martin here? Martin, you're muted. Marty, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
I pledge allegiance
Pledge allegiance
to the
to the
flag
flag
of the
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. Thank you, Madam Manager. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Roll call. Mayor Rhonda Rodriguez.
Present.
Vice Mayor Eric Diaz-Padrón is excused today. Commissioner Candida Blanca.
Yes.
Present. Commissioner Juan Blanes.
Present.
Present. And Commissioner Luciana Suarez asked to be excused too, Madam Mayor. You have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next item on the agenda.
Item 4, presentation of minutes for approval for September 16th, 2020, regular commission virtual meeting.
I need a motion.
I make a motion.
Thank you. I need a second.
Thought I made a motion. Okay, I'll second.
Okay. Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Blanca. I have a second by Commissioner Blanes. Item.
I'm sorry, Madam Mayor. Next item. Are all in favor?
I'm sorry. I jumped ahead, Madam Clerk. I apologize. Yes, all in favor.
Aye.
Okay, next item is presentation of minutes for approval for September 23rd, 2020 special commission virtual meeting and final budget hearings.
Motion.
Second.
Are all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item 5, public comments.
Has anyone from the public registered or called in for public comments, Madam Clerk?
Not as at this time, Madam Mayor.
Okay, I do see residents and public online. So if anyone wants to speak, now would be the time. Okay, Ms. Velasquez, welcome. Welcome back. I know you've been in the meeting before. Mr. Heran, thank you. Welcome back. Jose, welcome to our meeting. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item 6, report of the city manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the City Commission. I have a verbal report, as I have another report as 2 reports on the agenda. So I'll jump right into it. We have 2 projects that are ongoing, and we are devoting a great deal of time to submitting our CARES Act reimbursement request. We're actually working on the last piece right now, which is the follow-up of the wage differential for the police department. And that's being processed with this payroll and submitted to Miami-Dade County for reimbursement under the CARES Act. Again, we're working with all the projects under the CARES Act, and we have successfully completed numerous projects, which I would like to provide you a memo at a later time highlighting those projects that we are being considered for reimbursement, and what our recommendations are at that point in time. But I want to make sure that they have everything in the job queue and that everything is marked for approval and all their questions are answered. The same holds true for FEMA. This is a multifaceted project because it involves CARES Act and FEMA, and in no way, shape, or form is this an easy task. The next item is we're working with our department directors to ensure compliance in terms of the emergency orders by Miami-Dade County Mayor and those orders given by the governor of the state of Florida as we move towards the new norm, which is what they refer to, and hopefully we can return to normal soon. The next item is I have not forgotten to select a date for phase 1 of the potable water system groundbreaking ceremony. Just yesterday, we signed and executed the contract with the successful contractor, and we are working in hopes of being able to gather for a groundbreaking ceremony in the presence of the mayor and commissioners and all those who have labored to make this project successful. So at this point, I would urge you to consider holding off a couple of weeks until we are closer, perhaps to a more relaxed orders where people can gather. And so I will be contacting you, or Kari, my assistant, will be contacting you with a save the date. But before we send any invitations out, we want to make sure that every member of the City Commission is okay with this, with the date and time that we look at in terms of calendaring the event. I'm sorry. So we're also working on the calendar for the balance of the calendar year. 2020 and the holidays are upon us, and while many things are canceled, there's still things that we need to coordinate with the mayor and City Commission. So you'll be seeing some of our memos and calendars regarding this issue in the very near future. For now, that completes my report. If anybody has any questions, I welcome them on this or any other item. I welcome them at this point.
Thank you, Madam Manager. And I'm not sure if this is a question or a recap. You said that we are on track. Everything has been submitted as far as getting our reimbursements back for all our CARES related expenditures. We are current and up to date on everything we have to do related to that. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
100%
on track.
Thank you. And I am in agreement with waiting. The longer we wait for our invitation for our groundbreaking water project, the more, I'm sure the more attendees we'll have, and then everyone understands why we're waiting, because I'd like to have as many people there as possible. So the longer we wait, the better as far as that's concerned. Commissioners, any other questions or comments for the manager on her report? Okay. Upon hearing no questions or comments for the manager, Madam Manager, does that complete your report in its entirety, or do you have anything else?
On these issues, it does, Madam Mayor.
Okay, Madam Clerk, next item on the agenda, please.
Item 7, report of the city attorney.
Yes, the city attorney will report that the Court of Appeals has not yet scheduled the hearing on the Banyum case. So we're still waiting and hoping that it would be soon in the future, so we can terminate that. So
thank you, Mr. Attorney. And as soon as you are made aware of that date, please let us know, because I certainly do plan to be a part of that Zoom meeting. Anything else, Mr. Attorney? Okay. Commissioners, any questions for the attorney? I have no questions. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item 8, report of the city engineer.
Morning, Madam Mayor, Commissioners. I don't have any report at this time. I believe the city manager covered all the issues with the water project. So if there's any questions for me regarding any of the ongoing projects, you can take that.
Any questions, Commissioners, for the city engineer? Well, Mr. Alonso, for one, I am extremely happy and looking forward and can't wait till our water project groundbreaking. I can't wait to break that ground and get those pipes fixed. So I'm very, very happy and excited that we're so close to that. So close to that. Thank you, Frankie. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item 9, committee reports. Report of the mayor.
Any committee reports? Madam Clerk, I do have something for the report of the mayor. I'm actually bringing this up now because I'm looking for consensus from my commissioners. I had a call from a resident concerning our very, very outdated fence ordinance. And I'm going to yield to Mr. Pena to give you all the background that he gave me on the antiquity of our fence ordinance. So Mr. Pena, if you can elaborate for everyone as you and I discussed on that fence ordinance.
Definitely. Good morning, Mayor and City Commission members. The residents over the past few years are requesting to install different types of fences that are changed over the years with different types of materials and styles. Therefore, we usually revert them back to the ordinance, which was passed in 2003, that limits the areas in front of the house to what type of fence is allowed. Currently, the only types of fence that are allowed there are CBS walls or CBS walls with aluminum or iron fencing, or aluminum or iron fencing by themselves. The type of iron fencing or aluminum fencing that's allowed in the front setback is picket fences, and some of the residents have come up with different styles of modern fences that have come out that want to place them on their homes. Therefore, their request to us to see how to go about this, we asked them to contact a member of the commission to see if you'll all entertain sending it back to the zoning board for the zoning board to take up on the different types of styles or materials that we could possibly amend the ordinance to include.
Thank you, Mr. Pena. And commissioners, that's exactly why I'm bringing this forward. I'm just looking for a consensus to give Mr. Pena the direction to be able to take this particular fence ordinance to planning and zoning for their review and recommendation, and hopefully updating the fence ordinance. So that's it. Is anyone opposed to asking Mr. Pena to take this to planning and zoning for their review?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Yeah, Mr. Pena, what kind of fencing we are referring to, alluding to here, that is not, that we don't contemplate in our ordinances?
Well, when we passed the ordinance back in 2003, a lot of the PVC fencing that was allowed at that time, or that people were using at that time, was not allowed by the Florida Building Code. Since that time, those products have been improved, and they now are allowed by the Florida Building Code, but we yet don't allow them. Also, an aluminum dog ear fence was also allowed by the Florida Building Code because they were strengthened, and we don't allow it. And also in the front area, a different type of aluminum slatting for the front setbacks of the property.
Okay, thank you. That does answer my question, and that's what I suspected. Yeah, it's been known that those PVC type fencing back then weren't strong enough, but now they are. Now they're built considerably a lot stronger. So I definitely agree with the mayor that we need to allow this type of materials to be used.
Well, Commissioner, I'm not saying, to allow it. All I'm asking for us today is a consensus to give direction to Mr. Penna to take it to the Planning and Zoning Board for their review and their recommendation. So I'm not looking to recommend anything at this point. I want it to go to them. I mean, we have to follow the proper channels. So I want to be able to send it to Planning and Zoning, and for it then to come to us once they have made a recommendation. So that's all I'm looking for right now.
I'm aware of the procedure, and that's what I meant. But
thank you, thank you.
I made that statement too because that has come up in the past.
Yes, good. So thank you. So, Commissioner Blanes, are you in an agreement with me that we send this to the Planning and Zoning Board?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Blanca.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Penna. You have our consensus, unanimous, to send this fencing ordinance to Planning and Zoning for their review. And hopefully update and then recommendation back to us.
Will do.
Thank you. I have nothing else under my report. Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Item 10, unfinished business. Item 10A, discussion in reference to 2020 Halloween possible candy drive by Mayor Rodriguez and City Manager.
Thank you. I've got to tell you all, we discussed this already, and I'm still on the fence. Whereas I would love to have something. I know we're still not out of the woods as far as the coronavirus is concerned, but I have sent the city manager each time I see another municipality that's going to hold some type of event. I've sent it to her for her review. And we have to talk about this today, and we have to make a decision because the time is now. If we are going to have something, the city manager needs our direction to start planning it. And if we're not, so be it. We need to discuss it today, and we need to decide. So I need to hear, I want to hear from staff. I want to hear from my commission as to your thoughts and how do you think we should go forward on this. Let me go ahead and hear from staff first. Madam Manager, let's get your feelings on this, please.
Yes, ma'am. And again, I've been also receiving from other cities communication that they're going to have drive-by Halloween events or grab a bag of candy events in the city. And we have postponed events that are aimed to gather the community together. And I think at a moment in time where the community is trying to slowly but surely make its way back after being pretty much confined to our workplace and our homes for so many months. And this has a psychological impact on the children as well. I think that at the very least, we should be offering a drive-by Halloween. I spoke to you, Madam Mayor, several times about this issue, and I know I'm on the fence too. However, if we take the necessary precautions and we prepare, at least coming from us, and I have small grandchildren, I can tell you that we're going to bring a smile to the face of some small children that really look forward to these events. I spoke to Mr. Pena this morning, and I basically asked him to see if he can locate some type of a tent where cars could drive through, and we can decorate it using our Halloween decorations to the best of our ability, and have something for the kids as a drive-by, an event maybe from 6 to 8 p.m. And you know, the kids will not have to get off the car or have physical contact. We would all be wearing gloves to make sure that and masks to make sure that we have a safe event. But I kind of feel for these kids, and I kind of feel for the parents, and you know, who are looking forward to resuming a normal lifestyle. So that would be my recommendation. We have the money in the special events. And I went ahead and proceeded, and I purchased, we had the office purchase 500 small bags, but they're Halloween bags. They were not very costly. And so we have them, and all we would have to do is get the candy and maybe work on the decorations and try to come up with a creative way of putting a smile or a frown on the children's face, because it is Halloween after all, and coordinate you know, our traffic efforts with the chief of police, and of course our recreation center staff to assist with this event. And that would be our recommendation.
Thank you, Madam Manager. I'd like to hear from PD as far as your thoughts on holding or not holding this event.
Good morning. All we need to know is what time and what day we're going to do this, and where is the drive-by going to occur.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I
failed to mention that I think the best location would be in front of the recreation center, because we could actually work with the police department so they can structure a line of cars on 62nd Avenue, turning right at the rec, and have an orderly parade in and out of the area.
Chief, Major, feasibly possible, yes, as far as logistics?
Absolutely. I just need to know ahead of time, and we'll have the policeman there.
Okay. Mr. Pena, your staff, as far as decorating, we're good?
We'll do our best effort.
Okay, that's all I can ask. All right, let's see. John Michael, Mr. Infamous Park Director, your input on this, sir.
Ready when you are.
Ready when you are. Okay. Commissioner Blanes, I'm just going to make a comment. We don't have to judge Halloween contest this year, so I feel a lot better about that. I'm going to give everyone some background on that. Commissioner Blanes and I struggled every time that John asked us to judge the Halloween contest, because we wanted to make them all winners and we couldn't. And we felt horrible for the ones that didn't win. So I'm glad that pressure is off of us this year, Commissioner Blanes. All right, so now if I could hear from my commission, your thoughts on whether we have or do not have this drive-through Halloween event. Commissioner Blanca, if I could hear from you, please.
It's fine with me.
It's fine with you. Commissioner Blanes.
It's fine with me too. I'm glad that we're, you know, going to be able to do something for the children, for the kids. You know, I'm sure they'll get a kick out of it, and I'm sure that we will too.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Attorney, I'm going to also ask for your input. Please know that we will do everything possible to follow CDC guidelines as far as masks and gloves and physical distance to ensure the safety. So with that said, I need your comments as far as proceeding or not proceeding with this event.
Well, I'm all for proceeding with the event that inures to the welfare of the children and to their happiness. I'm always concerned about people claiming that they have been exposed to someone that is positive to coronavirus. So I would suggest that prior to the event that everybody gets either tested or you get their temperature or whatever. It's just precaution.
And I do believe we have thermometers, Madam Manager, so we obviously can take temperatures of everyone the day, when I say everyone, staff, and everyone that will be handing out the candy. And obviously we'll be wearing gloves, masks, and I don't mean Halloween masks, I mean PPE masks. Well, you know what, I just thought of something. Maybe as a mayor, can I make it a requirement that we all dress up? Commissioner, remember that year we wore our troll hair? So anyway, I would love for anyone who's going to participate in this event to dress for the occasion, but you know, I guess I won't make it mandatory. I'll leave it optional. Okay, so if you can, please dress up, and if not, that's okay too. My thoughts. The city manager and I talked about this as late as this morning because she knew that I was still on the fence. But I was leaning more this morning on the side of the fence to have it for these, you know, the children. I'm always out the children, and I know Halloween this year is not going to be the same. And I know I've had several of them ask me about Halloween, and I had to tell them that, you know, whereas our first annual event was extraordinary, that we wouldn't be able to follow it up this year with another Halloween event because of coronavirus. So knowing that we're going to do everything within our power to remain safe and to keep our children safe, I would love to have this event. And Madam Manager, I know I didn't give you my answer this morning because I was still on the fence. I want to do it, but I know that the coronavirus is still out there. But I know a lot of municipalities are holding events, and that makes me comfortable in the fact that, you know, a lot more municipalities are thinking the way we are, that as long as we do it the safest way possible, let's at least bring some joy to our children, to our young children and older children. I know a lot of adults love Halloween, so let's do this. I'm happy to say that everyone agrees that we can do this and we will do it. So Madam Manager, you can get with us each individually if you want more information from us as far as the logistics of the event, but what you're suggesting is fine. The drive-by in front of the rec, we can decorate the fence, we can decorate the tent. 6 to 8 sounds fine with me. It's a good time period, I believe. So I'm just happy to say that yes, we can do this. So that's it. Anyone have anything else on this? Any other questions or comments? Okay, so Madam Manager, if you have any questions for us, just get with us individually on this and let's do it. Let's do Halloween. Let's do a different Halloween this year.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Yes, Madam Mayor, item 11 on
the
new
hold
business.
on. I'm sorry. Hold on. Yes. I just realized something. Well, it was brought to my attention. Madam Manager, we are going to do this on the 31st, correct? The actual
Correct.
Halloween? Okay, correct. So I know we talked about where, we just didn't decide on when. So on 10:30, 10:31, 6 to 8. Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
We will also publish our flyers, and we'll send it to the schools, the elementary schools, and within our city limits so that they can partake in this.
Perfect. Thank you. And yeah, you can send it to them by email as well, and that way they can notify the children.
Yes,
okay, Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Yes, item 11 under new business agenda items, item 11A, a public hearing. A property address 1501 Southwest 66th Avenue, West Miami, Florida 33144. Special use permit for planned development, a number 2020-003. Property owner, Maho Property Holdings, LLC, 8500 Southwest 8th Street, number 228, Miami, Florida 32144. Applicant requests a special use permit for planned development for the property at 1501 Southwest 66th Avenue, West Miami, Florida 33144. The property is zoned for R2 duplex, and the applicant is requesting to redevelop the parcel to allow a new 3-bedroom, 3-bath house for the 2-family, 1-story duplex structure. Zoning ordinance 282, section 2B41.
Let me make an amendment there. It's not a house, it's a duplex.
Correct. Good morning, Madam Mayor, Commissioner.
Mr. Penna, hold on. Madam Clerk, did you get that correction?
Noted.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Mr. Penna, go ahead, please.
Good morning. On September 22nd, the Planning and Zoning Board had a virtual Zoom meeting for the applicant, and the applicant presented his duplex version on the property that is now a single-family home. What it involves is demolition of the existing structure and building a 2-unit duplex on the property. The zoning board listened to the presentation, and they recommended for the windows on the property to all be in the same pattern, and the owner has agreed to that. And today they are before you to get their final approval for the duplex for the property. Mr. Haran is here with his attorney, and they are ready to make a presentation for you.
May I make a suggestion?
Yes, Mr. Attorney, go ahead.
To make sure that the paint is equal in both sides of the duplex, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Attorney.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Mr. Penna, we've had this other type of development, very, very similar, haven't we?
Yes.
So, you know, I noted here that we're talking about windows, same windows and same paint. I mean, hasn't this been something that has been, you know, that we have requested to keep it all looking uniform in the past?
Yes.
So
just for the record, if we could allow Mr. The attorney for Mr. Haran do his presentation, and he'll explain to you the facts of the project.
Yes, sir. Of course. Go ahead. Counsel, go ahead.
My name is Jose Machado from Machado and Haran, PA, located at 8500 Southwest 8th Street, Suite 238, Miami, Florida. I represent Maho Properties Holdings in the request to tear down an existing old structure on the property and build a brand new duplex. As noted by Mr. Penna, the owner has agreed to make all windows uniform based on the same pattern that is going to be used throughout the house, throughout the duplexes. Also, the intention is to, yes, always maintain a uniform color scheme for the entire structure and not permit for different, you know, one side of the duplex have one color compared to another for another portion of the duplex. The property, as previously mentioned, is already permitted for duplex use. We are not requesting any variances or related to setbacks or lot coverage. And we feel that the duplex will be a wonderful addition to the community with a brand new structure compared to the existing structure that's on the property now.
Thank you, Mr. Haran, or Counsel Haran. Any questions for the attorney from the commission?
I have a question for Mr. Penna.
Go ahead, sir.
The planning and zoning, did they anonymously approve this project?
Yes, sir. It was unanimous.
There's no dissent? Okay.
And I see, Mr. Penna, in the planning and zoning memo that they did make some recommendations, and the developer is in agreement with everything that they're recommending, correct?
Correct. We did notify 500 radius feet around the property. This is a public hearing, so you have to open the public hearing.
Right, which I will do now. Any other questions for the attorney before I open the public hearing? Okay. I am opening the public hearing at this time. Madam Clerk, has anyone registered to speak during this public hearing?
No, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Anyone that's online that would like to register to speak? Okay, upon seeing or hearing no one, I will close the public hearing. Public hearing's closed. Commissioners, any other questions for Mr. Penna?
Yeah, as far as landscaping, is there any anything that they're going to do to enhance the way the project will look with landscaping?
Actually, there is a landscape sheet at the end of your agenda at the end of their application, which has a very substantial amount of landscaping that's going on the property to beautify the property once it's built.
Okay, I haven't seen it. I'll take a look at it. Thank you.
Mr. Penn, I have a question. Has this company, Module Properties, have they done any other projects in West Miami prior to this one?
No, they've owned the property for well over 40 years, and now they've come back to remove the existing structure and build a new.
Okay, so they own the current property. All right, good. And in your opinion, this will be an upgrade, okay, aesthetically and property-wise to the actual property, correct?
Definitely. Just to the south of the property, a duplex was built in the same fashion where a single-family property once stood, and it's it has enhanced the neighborhood completely, and it's in line with the rest of that neighborhood area there.
Perfect. So now knowing that they've owned the property for 40 years, there's been no issues or concerns with this actual property or with the owners of the property in the past?
No.
Perfect. Okay, any other questions or comments? Madam Clerk, could you read the resolution, please?
Yes, Madam Mayor, item 11B, resolution of the mayor and the city commission of the city of West Miami for site approval / denial of special use permit for planned development number 2020-003 for Maho Properties Holdings LLC, located at 1501 Southwest 66th Avenue, West Miami, Florida 33144. Listing requirements for development of certain lands in the city of West Miami, requiring complete development of all land, and in lieu of thereof, requiring certain improvements, dedications, and other terms and conditions, subject to approval to any other regulatory agency.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Can you call the vote, please?
We need a motion, Madam Mayor.
I'm sorry, we do, and I apologize. I need a motion. I have a motion. I need a second.
Second.
Thank you, commissioners. Call the vote, please, Madam Clerk.
Yes. Commissioner Blanca, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Mayor Rodriguez?
Yes.
3-0, item passes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Madam,
next, yes.
Mr. Ron is the owner of the property. He's here with us if you'd like to say a couple of words.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Ron, go ahead, please, sir.
No, it's fine. I didn't want to interrupt, but now that
you should have. I thought the attorney had said it all, but please go right ahead.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I just want to tell everyone thank you and good morning. Like Mr. Pena said, we've owned the property. My parents bought the property in 1977. We lived there until 1985 when we moved out, and we've been renting the property ever since. And now we're looking forward to, the structure is a little bit old, and we've always loved West Miami. We have no intention of, of doing any wrong at the time. Obviously, we just want to redevelop the property, build a duplex, and just add value, to the city and to the lot. We feel it's a wonderful lot on the corner, and we have the ability to go ahead and develop it with your permission. So we're very excited to do this.
Well, Mr. Herran, thank you for being great neighbors, and your parents as well. Thank you for always looking out for the best interest of the city and your neighbors. And I guess I can say welcome back. You have never left, but
Right.
welcome back in a new way.
Correct.
And thank you for helping us keep West Miami as great as it is. Any questions or comments for Mr. Herran from the commission? Commissioner Blanes, did you have something?
No, it's just I agree. I second everything that you said. Thank you, Mr. Herran, for your project and for being a neighbor for so long and coming back and continuing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and on a personal note, I have to apologize. I keep muting and unmuting myself. And when I am unmuted, I apologize for the background noise. I'm not sure if it's obvious to all you who have seen me before on Zoom. I'm having to hold this meeting from my front porch today because I've been relegated to my porch because I have 2 grandchildren doing virtual school, one in the dining room, one in the living room, and I had no place else appropriate in my house to chair the meeting from. So I'm on my front porch. I apologize for the outside background noise when I'm unmuted. Bear with me. I'm trying to monitor my mute button as closely as possible. So with that said, Madam Clerk, if you could read the next item, please.
Item 11C, this is a public hearing. Property address 6480 Southwest 20th Terrace, West Miami, Florida 33155. Special use permit number 2020-004. Property owner Leticia Rios, 6480 Southwest 20th Terrace, West Miami, Florida 33155. Applicant requests a special use permit for the renovation of a property located at 6480 Southwest 20th Terrace, West Miami, Florida, providing for a 2-story addition to the single-family home property zoned residential single-family. Zoning Ordinance 282, Section 281, Section 417, Zoning Ordinance 282.
Again, Madam Mayor and Commissioners, on September 22nd, we had a public hearing for the applicant Leticia Rios at 6480 Southwest 20th Terrace, where she is intending to have an addition redone and remodel the first floor of the property, where she adds a 2nd story and converts the property to 5-house. I don't remember. I think it's 4-bath house to include a 2nd story with a master bedroom.
Thank you, Mr. Penna. Ms. Rios, did you have anything to add?
Hi, good morning.
Welcome back.
Thank you. And I just wanted to say thank you again for allowing meetings and for allowing us to move forward with our ideas and our projects. And I just wanted to make this commission aware of my intention. I wanted to add 1,195 square feet, 2nd floor to my existing home. It'll be the same footprint minus my back bedroom. And that's it. Do you all have any questions for me?
Thank you, Ms. Rios. Any questions? Commissioner, did you have something?
I'll say congratulations on your project.
Thank you.
Mr. Penna, I do have a question for you. And if you said it, I'm sorry. We notified the residents as required, correct?
Yes, we went ahead and we published the article in the general newspaper general circulation, and also notified 500 radius feet around the property.
Perfect. And as far as privacy for the neighbors, from the second floor, that meets all requirements as well, correct?
Meets Ordinance 9901, yes.
Perfect. Thank you. Commissioner Blanca, did you have any questions for Ms.
No.
Rios or for staff?
No.
Okay, and neither do I. Madam Clerk, could you please read the resolution?
Mayor, you have to open the public hearing.
I do, and I apologize, guys. Again, I'm kind of out of my element here, trying to keep track of where I am. Let's open the public hearing. Has anyone registered to speak?
No, Madam Mayor.
Anyone that is present from the public wish to speak at this time on this item? Upon hearing no one, I will close the public hearing. Madam Clerk, please read the resolution.
Yes, item 11D, resolution of the mayor and the city commission of the city of West Miami for site approval/denial of special use permit number 2020-004 at 6480 Southwest 20th Terrace, West Miami, Florida 33155. The property is currently zoned for R1 single family. The applicant is requesting to redevelop the parcel to allow a 2-story house requiring certain terms and conditions pursuant to zoning ordinance 282, section 2A41.
Thank you. I need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, call the vote, please.
Commissioner Blanca, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Mayor Rodriguez?
Yes.
3-0, item passes.
By the way, Mayor and Commissioners, Ms. Rios has been very patient, waiting 6 months for us to finally process her permit, and it will be a beautiful structure once it's completed.
Thank you, Mr. Penna. And yes, I am very grateful for her patience. But she knew the pains, the trials and tribulations that we went through to get here. So I am happy that we were able to accommodate these types of planning and zoning meetings and commissions meetings as far as zoning items are what zoning items require. So I am also happy that we were able to get here. And again, Ms. Rios, thank you for your patience and understanding and working with us to get here today.
And thank you all for working with us. It's really appreciated during these crazy times.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Leticia.
Thank you. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Item 11E, this is a request for mitigation of lien for code violation at the property located at 6200 Southwest 8th Street, West Miami, Florida 33144, and owner Genesco Partners, LLC.
Thank you, Mr. Penna. Mr. Penna, can we get some background on this?
I will defer to Martin Garcia.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Mr. Garcia, go ahead, please, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, this property was cited. One of the business failed to comply with our occupational license back in 2017. It took them approximately 8 months after sending the original notification for renewal. We sent a first notice and a second notice, and we received no action. And approximately 10 months later, they decided to apply for the occupational license. So the property owner was cited, and now they're in the process of wanting to mitigate it.
All right, so this is simply because they were very, 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 very late in taking out the occupational license.
Correct. We send out the occupational license renewal middle of August, usually on the 15th for the new coming year. We let it go until September 1st, and then we send out a first notice saying that you have to apply. The second notice goes out January, and we didn't get any reaction, so we cited them.
Mr. Garcia, if you know, how long has Genesco Partners been at this location and owned this this business at this location?
Madam Mayor, I don't know how long, but they've been there for a while.
For a while, okay.
Yes.
And is this the first time something like this has happened with them, or is this a recurring situation?
Well, they own the property, which is a shopping center, and each shopping center, they have 8 locations. So we have to cite the property owner. We cannot cite the actual business.
Oh, I see. Okay, so this is an individual business that did not comply with taking out their license, and we cited the property owner. Okay.
Correct.
Okay, I understand. Any questions from the commission for Mr. Garcia?
Yeah.
Commissioner Blanes, go ahead.
Did this particular business continue operating without a license for those 10 months?
Yes.
And the property owner that we're citing, did he know?
Yes. He was duly served.
So he did not do anything to try to get his tenant to comply?
That's correct.
And so they kept operating as if they had a license, right?
Correct.
And okay, and why now? Why do they want, a license now? Why do they want to comply now all of a sudden?
Well, they back then, I guess there was no check and balance. Let's start there. Code enforcement will give a list of properties that delinquent on their occupational license. And you will see where their first and second notice were sent, okay? And if there was no action, code enforcement would cite. Now we have changed the system a lot different now. Now, once we cite through our new Citizen Serve program, we could follow whether these people complied, didn't comply. They are currently now have a license for this coming year. They already applied for 2021. So they got to know, I think they learned a lesson. You cannot be delayed. That's as simple as I could put it. But in this particular case, for whatever reason, and again, this is when I first started, unfortunately, they took their sweet time to think nobody was going to catch up to them. And they did catch up to them.
So in this case, it was the tenant and the property owner that both knew what the issue was and nothing was done.
Correct. The tenant received the new notification that he needs to apply. Okay. Then we send out what is called a first notice. When we give them 30 days for them to apply. When we see that no action has been taken, we send out the first notice. We let the first notice go almost to the beginning of the following year. In January, the second notice is to go out. Okay. And by then, if you haven't taken any action after that time that is allowed within the second notice, code enforcement cites. Okay. So, and we cite the property owner, letting him know that his tenant is not complying with our ordinances, and no action was taken.
If we could let a city attorney chime in on this. I know he's spoken to the attorney for the property and see what the outcome was, since I don't see Mr. DeJury online from what I can see on my screen.
Yes, Mr. Garcia, thank you for that very detailed explanation. I learned some things right now through your explanation. I'm happy to hear we have a new system that will serve us very well going forward. Mr. Attorney, go ahead, please. You're muted, sir. Unmute yourself. You're muted, Mr. Attorney. You're okay now. Go ahead.
I have been in touch with Mr. DeJury for a long time, and he has explained that his client, the property owner, done his best to force the business owner to comply. Unfortunately, they have been unable to do that, and thanks to the efforts of Mr. Martin, they were able to force the business owner to do that. So I have had this case personally in other issues that is not related to the city of West Miami, representing owners. And I assure you that it's very difficult sometimes for owners to force their tenants to comply with city issues. So in this particular case, again, even though the owner knows that there's a violation, sometimes there's a little that they could do to force the tenant to comply. And Florida law is very vague on that. And taking the tenant to court. Usually, not only is very expensive, but is quite convoluted. So in this particular case, it is the property, I'm sorry, the tenant that is the actual responsible. And I think that Mr. De Jure has expressed the many times that he has been there personally. And I'm sorry that he's not here to address the commission. I don't remember what sort of business was that they had there, Mr. Martin. What was it that they had?
The business is Discount Flowers, and it's been there for a while. Okay.
And what was the date? I don't have the data right in front of me. What was the date of the non-compliance?
The date they were cited was in January of 2018, and Discount Flowers, after I guess a lot of follow-throughs and me annoying them, they finally applied for their license in July 13 of 2018. So it's almost 7 months after all the notifications were sent out.
Oh,
Mr. Attorney, thank you for your input on that. Martin, thank you for your due diligence in getting this situation taken care of. I'm sure it's through your efforts and only through your efforts that it was done. Not in a timely manner, but in a timely manner since you've been on top of it. So thank you for that. Madam Manager, what is your recommendation as far as? Yeah, go ahead, Commissioner. Go ahead.
Mr. Attorney, typically when a property owner leases a space to a business, like in this case, the shopping center, don't they have a lease? And in that lease, don't they require this business that's leasing from the property owner to abide by all the rules and regulations of the city?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, that wasn't, does it stand now in this case with the property owner and the leasee?
I don't have the particular lease in front of me. I have not seen the lease. So even though I assume that typically, as you very well and correctly stated, most leases say that they have to comply. I have not leased this particular.
And quite possibly also that they're going to be responsible for any fines.
Sir, usually I don't know. In this particular case, I don't know whether they would be responsible for the fine. I have not seen the lease, so.
Nonetheless, it's the property owner's
Okay, cracks.
So,
and does dress and cracks right?
I have an overlap in here.
Dress and cracks right?
There's other people talking, so I cannot understand what you're saying.
I know. I was wondering about that. Okay, no, I'm done. I'm just, I'm just curious to see how the property owner, is, dropped the ball and trying to get, this renter, this leasee to comply, when he possibly has something on the lease that legally forces that leasee to comply with all the rules and regulations, and that wasn't done. Well, and if that wasn't done, then, and if that is not on the lease, then you know what? It needs to be included in that lease.
I think sometimes, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Commissioner, I think that there should be more pressures, legal pressures on the tenants, because as I say, having had this case before, and having spoken to Mr. De Jure on numerous times, even from the site of the business, I know that they have tried. In this particular case, I think that I have not seen the lease, but I think that whether or not they did try, even with the lawyers, I think that they have done their due diligence as far as they were able to. And I don't have the lease on me on my hand, so I cannot respond to that. But in this particular case, I think that, as I say, I have spoken with Mr. Diure, with Mr. Diure at the site.
Thank you.
That's all I can say.
I have another question for Martin. Martin, the fee for that license, how much is it?
The actual fee for the license is $50.
So this is all being caused because this guy did not renew his $50 license.
Yeah, excuse me. Total cost for the whole license, including the zoning license, is $112.
So it's 112. So all this is being caused because he did not pay $112.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Also, you got to remember, Mr. Blanes and commissioners, this is a tax. It's not a violation that actually damages anything to any neighbor or any other property. It's a tax collected by the city, and once they're not in compliance, code enforcement is the method of going after them for compliance. The initial fine is $250 for not complying, and then from there on, it just starts accumulating once no action has been taken on their part.
And if I may add, that is why the fine is so hefty, is because it went on for so long. It's been lingering since 2018. So it's not even tied to COVID, as people are very irresponsible at times. And sometimes, and I got to tell you that the property owner in this case always come forward and takes care of his property issues with the city. And I think that Mr. Pena and Martin Garcia can attest to that. So this was, call it irresponsible, if you would. It's something that, you know, has accrued daily fines, and that's why the amount is as high as it is. We have a recommendation. Obviously, you're talking about a business license fee or local business tax fee of, like Commissioner Blanes said, $112 issue. And I think we need to send a message to the business community that they need to keep up with compliance with city ordinances, and we can recommend to the property owner that they execute a business lease that at least is more protective to the owner. But I have to say that in part, the owner needs to be held a little responsible as well in this case. So noting that the amount that was initially the amount that was due to the city, which is $112 and I think 50 cents for the entire transaction for the year, and noting the fact that they have applied for their business license at this time, and I think they've learned their lesson, we actually agree that a $500 mitigation be approved by the mayor and city commission in this case, and hopefully this will send out a message to all the unit owners in the building. But we've never had major problems with the business owner, at least at that parcel that I am aware of. I don't know if Mr. Pena has anything, or Marty, that you can add or correct that I have stated.
No, you said it well. I mean, this is the only issue I ever had with them. You know, and I think they learned their lesson.
Thank you, Madam Manager. Mr. Garcia, Mr. Pena, thank you. And Commissioner, thank you for your questions and clarifications. Madam Manager, that $500 recommendation, that covers our cost that was involved with this?
Our cost.
Okay.
Yes.
Are there any other questions for staff on this item?
No.
All right, Madam Clerk, can you please read the resolution?
Yes, Madam Mayor, item 11F, resolution of the mayor and the city commission of the city of West Miami authorizing the city manager to accept a mitigation offer in the amount of $500 from Enesco Partners LLC on code enforcement lien case number 1803041 for code violation at the property located at 6200 Southwest 8th Street, West Miami, Florida, providing that if payment in full is not paid by blank, then the amount owed shall revert to the original lien amount, providing for an effective date.
And I would further recommend, Madam Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
That we give them 30 days to pay for this. So the amount due would be paid, is payable to the city on or before the end of business day, November 6th, because November 7th falls on a Saturday.
I disagree with that wholeheartedly. I think they should pay this tomorrow and no later than tomorrow.
Mr. Blanes, Commissioner, I'm sorry. Let's remember that if it's not paid by the date given, that reverts back to the original amount.
I know, but how much money do they actually owe?
I'm okay with not giving 30, but let's.
They forsake our law for 8 months. The owner knew it. The leasing knew it. Now we're going to give them 30 days to pay $500. I think they should pay this tomorrow.
May I suggest?
Go ahead, Commissioner. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Attorney.
I would suggest I would agree with Commissioner Blanes, but I would say that rather than saying tomorrow, it says 24 hours after being notified by the city, because we don't know whether we can reach him out by tomorrow.
Correct. Well, I said tomorrow, but what I meant is not give them 30 days, right, or 15 days, or 10 days, or 5 days. You know what? They should pay up, and they should pay up as soon as possible.
Commissioner, well, we've got to give a date. So, would you be comfortable with 48 hours?
I agree. 48 hours.
48 hours.
The end of business day on Friday, October 9th by 4:30 p.m.
After being notified. After being notified, 48 hours after being notified.
After being notified.
Is that acceptable, Commissioner?
It is acceptable.
Mr. Penna, is that acceptable to you, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and Mr. Penna, is that acceptable? Okay, Commissioner Blanca, is that acceptable to you?
Yes.
Okay, Madam Manager, restate the date, please, that this has to be paid for the record.
Friday, October 9th, 2020, end of business day, which would be 4:30 p.m.
So that'd be 48 hours after they are notified. That is correct. Okay.
Mr. Penna, I'm sorry, Mr. Villalobos, will you be contacting the attorney for the property owner?
I will try it, and I will advise you as soon as I talk to him.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, I believe you read the resolution already, right?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Okay, does anyone else have anything else on this before I call for a motion? Okay, I need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Call the vote.
Yes, Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanca?
Yes.
Mayor Rodriguez?
Yes.
3-0, item passes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. When you're ready, please call the next item, please.
Item 11G, report and recommendation by the Office of the City Manager in reference to State of Florida executive orders, virtual meetings, and Phase 3 reopening plans.
Madam Manager, take it away.
Thank you. I'll be as brief as I can. I issued 3 memorandums, one being a draft memo, which was sure to change, and it did on September 28th with the governor's executive order and the mayor of Miami-Dade County executive orders. Obviously, the more you look into these orders, the more we realize that these decisions affect pretty much all the departments of the city and the decisions made by the city. I think that the most important memo is the one that is dated, October 1st, 2020, which was included in your agenda packet. And obviously we are asking you to weigh in and give us some direction on some of the issues that I think we need to start revisiting at this time. And I've highlighted those and we've given you some recommendations to work with. I don't think there's anything we could do with a curfew. I think that's an emergency order by the mayor of Dade County, and that continues to be in effect between the hours of 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. The police department is enforcing the and monitoring that everyone that doesn't need to be out on the road after 11 p.m. and until 6 a.m., that they are either given a courtesy or somebody not commuting to or from work. We have healthcare professionals, police officers, and people that have to travel to go to work during these hours. So that is something that I leave up to the chief, the major, and the department to enforce. The noise issue is another issue that Mayor Jimenez emphatically spoke about at the managers meeting. Madam Mayor, you were part of that Zoom meeting. Mayor Jimenez emphatically informed the group that noise deriving from loud music or live performances needed to be toned down and strictly enforced by either code enforcement or our police departments. Loud music interferes or loud sounds interfere with the ability to have a normal conversation. And obviously our CDC and health department experts are saying that the louder you speak, the more particles come out of your mouth and the more possibility of contamination to others, present itself in these cases. So we are asking the police department to strictly monitor gatherings and parties and in both the commercial and residential area where loud music or performances may be had, so that we can adhere to these strict orders from the mayor's office. We are working with the restaurants and food service businesses, Mr. Garcia, Sergeant De La Uz, Officer Manny Bello, and the police department is enforcing the protocols that have been established now for the capacity for restaurants and food service banquet halls. Those that can operate at 100% is because they have the space to operate at 100%, and others with a combination of the outdoor dining and the indoor dining can reach their 100% if we make sure they're following their physical distancing requirements. There's 6 people to a table and 10 people to a table when coming from an immediate family. Obviously, we are monitoring those individuals that must wear a mask while walking into restaurants, and they can remove them once they're being served in their respective tables. The next item is the West Miami Community Center. The city was notified that by an emergency order issued by Mayor Jimenez that the community center would be able to open for as long as we follow physical distancing guidelines, capacity requirements, and the wearing of masks. And that's in the new norm manual that was provided, and I provided you with a link to that, to those rules and regulations. With this said, and pursuant to my conversation with Barbara Suarez at the Alliance for Aging, they would like for us to give them a plan of action on how we intend to resume and reopen, a plan of action for the reopening of the West Miami Community Center. So they're saying as well, you can open based on the order. However, before you open, we need to have a plan from your office. We conducted a survey, and I believe I issued a memo on the 5th of October regarding the survey that we conducted at the community center. We only surveyed City of West Miami residents who normally would attend the community center functions. Out of 50 senior citizens who attend on a day-to-day basis, the congregate meal program and the classes, only 13 would be ready to resume their activities in early November. Others would like to wait longer until all restrictions are lifted by the executive order and by the emergency orders. This information is provided to you so that you know that we're on top of it, and that at this point, with only 13 senior citizens who would like to resume their daily activities, I think that we should conduct yet a second survey on or about Monday, November 9th, to see if anything has changed. This allows us another month to see if orders are somewhat relaxed moving forward by the governor's office and as well by the mayor of Miami-Dade County at the time. So I leave you with that recommendation. I don't think we should open just yet. I believe that we should conduct another survey and see how the numbers change on a day-to-day basis for the next 30 days. So on this issue, if you have any questions, we can take them up one at a time. You can propose or recommend that we look into alternatives as well.
That was going to be my recommendation, Madam Manager, that you pause there and let's take one department at a time. That way we don't get everything mixed up. So thank you for that report. Let's stop here at the West Miami Community Center. Are there any questions or comments from the commission for Madam Manager or for staff on the West Miami Community Center?
I would just like to add, as you all know, we budgeted this year to replace both AC units in the community center. One of them is down right now, so the air conditioning is not working at 100%. So if we are to open sometime in November, we may have to waive the traditional bidding requirements to replace those units. There won't be enough time.
Mr. Penna, if I may, Madam Mayor, we spoke about you putting out an RFP. I know you're working on an RFP for the AC unit replacement. I also understand that there are some specific guidelines as to special filters that we are recommended to follow the CDC guidelines to make sure that the community center and all of our facilities moving forward have the correct air circulation and preventive filters in those units. So I would like to remind you to make sure that we comply with those CDC recommendations and the Department of Health when moving forward and taking it to the next step. Now, we also have to remind the Mayor and City Commission that we have early voting, which starts on Monday, October 19th. I suspect we're going to have a very busy early voting season or 2 weeks. And I would like to go on record advising you that once the Miami-Dade County Elections Department, and the clerk can tell you more about this, this becomes their jurisdiction. We can simply come in there and clean the bathrooms to the best of our abilities and try to sanitize around the working equipment and the working areas, because if anything gets lost or misplaced, it would be the responsibility of the city. So I would further recommend that before we start to even think about reopening, that right after November 1st, which is the closing of early voting, that the city does sanitizing by using an environmental company, as we have been sanitizing the community center, and again, preparing for that opening. Again, and I'm talking about surveying the seniors after that early voting, and I'm saying doing a survey on or about November 9th, which buys us additional time to prepare a plan of action to the Alliance for Aging, and it gives us additional time for that RFP to go out within the next couple of weeks and award a successful vendor the project of changing out the AC unit at the community center. So we're really talking about possibly entering into an opening phase early December.
Again, I warn you that it takes time to get bidders out there. It gets time to get the specs together. And it also takes time to get this before the City Commission for them to approve the bidder. So if we go through the normal bidding process, I can't guarantee December.
Why don't we do this? Based on everything I'm hearing from Mr. Penna and from Madam Manager, why don't we put this back as an item for discussion on the November 18 meeting? That'll give Mr. Penna time to find out what he needs to find out. That means early voting is over, gives us time to resurvey. So I would think that we should just put this back on for discussion for November 18. What does the rest of my commission think about that? Is that a good idea? Do you want to do anything else? Hold on, let me unmute you, Commissioner Blanca. Go ahead, Commissioner Blanca.
I agree with you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Commissioner Blanes?
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Attorney, go ahead.
Yes, let me tell you, the service for the community center is vital to the many elderly for the city of West Miami. Is that not a fact, Madam Manager?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we're talking about an emergency here to assist to the health, safety, and welfare of citizens within the city. In that particular case, I think that the commission may waive the requirement for bidding and request Mr. Juan Pena to simply canvass and see whether he can get the best possible price. And because you see, we're serving the elderly, which is the more fragile of the citizens of West Miami. I think in this particular case, you should waive it, not postpone it until November, see where Mr. Pena can come with it, and whether he can do it as quickly as possible instead of preparing which is very lengthy, and you should declare an emergency and authorize Mr. Pena to proceed accordingly.
Thank you, Mr.
If I may, Mr. Villalobos, we do need an emergency declaring an emergency, a resolution from your office, correct?
Excuse me, please. Victor, I'm sorry?
Do we need to declare an emergency at the community center for us to be able to waive the bidding process? I believe we need to declare an emergency and instruct the administration to secure proposals and waive the bidding process.
Let me tell you, this is not in the agenda, but the agenda may be amended on emergency basis. So the agenda being amended by the emergency basis on the approval by the commission, you may do it today and save Mr. Pena and time and so on and so forth. So I think that they can be done now, and just simply by vote number one of the commission to putting this in the agenda, number one, and number two, declare this an emergency and authorize Mr. Pena. Mr. Pena, how much money are we talking about?
The community center should be somewhere around $12,000 to $15,000.
I think, Madam Mayor and Commissioners, I think that this is totally feasible. And again, we're caring for the more needy citizens of the city of West Miami. So that's the way it should be done in this particular case.
And just to add to the pie before we get any further forward, I hear that the rec center may be opening also. Remember, we also have an AC unit there that's down, which requires also the same process. So,
and we'll get into that because we're going to talk about every department. I think the mayor, so that you all can provide some direction. And I agree with you, Juan. These things need to be dealt with on an immediate basis.
Yes, but let's just go ahead. And my suggestion, Madam Mayor, is that you take this item first and go ahead and number one, approve that this goes into the agenda today. And number two, approve that this is an emergency and instruct the manager to proceed accordingly.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney. Commissioners, is anyone opposed to taking the attorney's recommendation? Upon hearing no one opposed, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Pena, we have taken the city attorney's recommendation, and you may proceed with Commissioner Blanes. Go ahead. You're muted. You're muted, sir.
Only two of us said aye. I think it requires three.
Commissioner, I don't think you heard Commissioner Blanca. Let's repeat. All in favor, say aye.
I said aye.
All right. I have 3 ayes. Any opposed? I have no one opposed. Mr. Pena, we are taking the attorney's recommendation. You may proceed.
Madam Mayor, just for the record, we did budget for these AC replacements as we prepared for the budget cycle that started October 1st. So we have taken this into consideration.
So in order for the clerk to take this down, the commission has approved, number one, that this item be in the agenda, and number two, that the requirement for bidding process for this particular air conditioning is being approved by the mayor and city commission.
Duly noted.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney. And the clerk has duly noted that. I believe we're finished with the community center portion of your memo. Is that correct, Madam Manager?
Yes, I would like to report on something that for a long time we've talked about this, and it's something that I've had in my radar with, and I think with the pandemic, it may be more of a matter that is going to surface in the next 6 to 12 months. We learned, Evelyn and I learned yesterday that the Alliance for Aging notified us that Southwest Social Services is closing their community centers down after over 25 years of service to the seniors in the community. So this is a sign of the times, and Madam Mayor, we have spoken about numerous times about possibly looking at revamping our program to tailor it to up and coming senior citizen generations, mygroup.com. And
that would include me. That would include me too. That's including me.
Yeah, and you know, things that we're going to have to do to become more innovative. I think this pandemic has set off an alarm that I suspected will occur because of the normal attrition. Little did I know that this pandemic would have such a domino effect on all the services that we provide. So I'd like to put you on notice that it was really sad to read the Southwest Social Services email regarding the closure. For now, I don't know that they're going to be able to reopen. And I think our senior citizens are very vulnerable, and I think they're literally afraid. So I will be revisiting this with Evelyn and the Alliance and speaking to Commissioner Suarez, as this is his committee, and all the members of the City Commission to try to see what way we're going to go beyond December 30th, which is the expiration of the meals provided by District 6, Miami-Dade County, and the meal offered by the City of West Miami using our LSP funds through the Alliance for Aging. So definitely very present in our radar. We may have to shift some of our programs and tweak them as we move along. So enough said on that.
Sounds like the beginning of the year is a good time to look at reinventing our community center. So that's a good plan, Madam Manager. Thank you.
Thank you. We're on it. The next item that I mentioned in my memo is the venue rentals. We are permitted by the executive order from the governor and the emergency order from Miami-Dade County to open our venues for rentals, provided that we enforce physical distancing and make sure, enforce that people are maintaining their mask on while at the event, unless they're eating, maintaining their 6 foot separation. With that said, our recommendation is that we postpone the venue rentals until after the election cycle, as both of our sites will be used as polling places. Now that we learn we have another AC down at the rec center, I believe that it gives us additional ammunition to keep the building closed until such time we replace the AC. And I would like to avoid at all costs, where possible, any confrontation between employees and guests who fail to adhere to the standing orders. So the same recommendation applies when dealing with our park rentals. And I think we need to be looking at possibly sometime after the 1st of January 2020 to be on the safe side for venue rentals and park rentals. And I wanted direction from the mayor and commissioners.
Thank you. Any questions for the manager on this venue rental portion of her report?
Couldn't agree with her more.
Okay. And with that said, all in favor of the manager's recommendation on venue rentals, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed?
You have to vote also, Madam Mayor.
I'm sorry?
You have to vote also. You have to say your vote.
Oh, no, yes. Any opposed? I'm saying no, there's no one opposed. So I didn't say aye. I thought I did. Okay, aye. And upon hearing any opposed, I have no one opposed. Madam Manager, we are going to accept your recommendation for venue rentals. Now, I just have one clarification though, because you're just at the very end, you said here in your report, it says postpone venue rentals until after the election, but now you just said until the 1st of the year. So
right.
Is it to the 1st of the year?
Noting the issue of the air conditioning unit, that changes the game plan here.
Okay, so then Madam Clerk, it's the manager's recommendation is to postpone the venue rentals until after the 1st of the year, and that is what we accepted as far as her recommendation. Okay.
And if I may, as such, Mr. Villalobos, I think on this item we need to declare an emergency because we have the possibility, the building, the Rebecca Sosa multi-purpose facility building, we have employees in there, we have a system that's down, and we're going to be dealing with the possibility of reopening our recreation center for a small group of children. So I don't know if you may want to entertain a recommendation to the mayor and city commission instructing or allowing that the administration move forward with a securing of proposals without going through an RFP process to change out the AC at the park.
Okay, again, this is not an item on the agenda, so it will have to be approved by the commission to put an item in the agenda that is not have been published. So the second phase would be, yes, this is an issue that also impacts children. And since taking the time and effort to an expense to put a bid out, I think that this, my recommendation would be to declare an emergency and authorize the city administration to go forward with it. But let's go first with the commission taking this as an item in the agenda. And I would suggest, Madam Manager, that you should call it to the attention and have it approved by the commissioners.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney. Thank you, Madam Manager. All in favor of taking the city attorney's recommendation as far as the condition for the venue for venue rentals? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Upon hearing no opposition, Mr. Penna, we are accepting the attorney's recommendation to proceed as needed for the air conditioning.
Number one, that was the item to put it in the agenda. Number two is the you have to call and the recommendation.
Yes, sir. We're taking your entire recommendation. It's in its entirety.
Hello? Hello?
Let me hold off a second.
Listen, I'm in a Zoom. I'm in a Zoom meeting, so I can't take care of that. Okay. I'm sorry,
Mr. Attorney. We voted on your entire recommendation in its entirety.
Thank you.
There was no opposition. Mr. Penna, as instructed, Madam Clerk, please note.
No.
Okay. Madam Manager, next item on your report is the West Miami Recreation Center.
Correct. As of the date that the memo was prepared, which was October 1st, 2020, There was an amendment to the emergency order issued by Mayor Carlos Jimenez that was sent to you via email on September 30th, 2020 during the evening hours, ordering the opening of playgrounds in municipal parks. In order to be able to maintain the playground open, we will need to wash down the equipment using CDC approved cleansers. And additionally, our parks, those that have restroom facilities, will require cleaning several times during the day. As of the writing of the memo, we had a recommendation for you to consider allowing us to close down the restrooms at 4 p.m. daily at Cooper Park in this case, and that has changed because the orders for the rec center has also changed. So we recommend that we maintain the restrooms closed after 4 p.m. and this will avoid and completely closing it down during the weekend because it avoids the need for overtime expenses. The rec center is a supervised facility. We initially recommended that restrooms would follow the same guidelines with a closure at 4 p.m. But because our leagues are coming back after my conversation with John Michael several times yesterday during the day and as late as last evening, Mr. John Michael, our parks director, who is part of the meeting, is telling me that the park is now becoming a little bit more attractive for people to come out and use for their what do you call it? Pickup games. That's what they call it, John, right? Pickup games, and the leagues are coming back little by little. Our tennis is particularly active, and so the park is open till 9 p.m. John says that they can handle the restroom sanitation so that at least we can keep the restrooms open until 8 p.m. That allows staff to give it one final cleaning before the morning reopening. And so our recommendation includes that Cooper Park, Garden Club Park, once it's finished and open, that we close the restrooms until further notice at 4 p.m., that we post the closings. And obviously we have the issue of the playgrounds in municipal parks that unless we're prepared to clean them down on a daily basis, which we have to allocate manpower, we would have to leave them closed until the orders are further relaxed. So we bring all this to your attention so that you can weigh in on this and give us some instructions on what to follow here. All water fountains will remain closed pursuant to the emergency order. And also the organized leagues can now resume with a no mask requirement, but pickup games would require the wearing of the mask. John, if you have anything to add to the recreational component, I think now would be a good time for the mayor and commissioners to hear from you, and then we'll tackle the after-school care.
Nothing really to add. It's the activity has picked up, like you said, and most of our activity is at night, so that's why closing the bathroom wouldn't really work. But I could do that, or whoever's here with me, however we decide to man the park, and like you said, however it goes forward with after school. But it's been busy, and it's a lot of the regulars. It's a lot of the rental of the field, the tennis court, the basketball academy is starting to get back into it, so they'll be here soon again. And that's the people that have showed up for the courts are the high schoolers that normally, the residents and stuff like that. So
for pickup games.
Yeah.
Okay. And the racquetball court is also in use.
The racquetball court is being used more than ever.
Interesting.
Okay, so let's break for clarification. Let's break it down to the different parks. So right now, we're talking about the rec center. Okay, so the rec center, we're saying, just so I can recap or be sure I understand. Obviously, it's fully functional. We're leasing our fields, tennis, racquetball, baseball, whatever. it's fully operational, and the basketball courts are also open. And we staff, obviously, it's a staffed facility, so staff is there to maintain the cleanliness of the restrooms as needed. Now, what I don't know if we talked about, or Madam Manager, if you said, what about the playground equipment at the rec? Are we going to open that because staff is present to maintain the cleanliness of that? Speaking just of the playground equipment at the rec, what is your recommendation on that?
Well, I see Mr. Penna nodding no. We're not ready for that.
Okay.
The problem that we're having, Madam Mayor, is we don't have the staff. If we move the staff, it would be a solely dedicated effort to maintaining these park equipment. I mean, spick and span clean throughout the course of the day, and you would have to redeploy manpower.
I'm only talking about, I want to talk about the rec right now, not any other park.
Okay.
So just the rec. So are you recommending we open the playground equipment along with everything else that's opened, or not?
Not at this time.
Not at this time.
Rec center equipment will require a daily wash down by pressurized equipment, to include Clorox in order to clean it. And the park staff is not going to be able to do that while the park is open.
Okay, so everything at the rec center is open except playground equipment, correct?
Right.
Correct.
All right. Okay. Commissioners, do you have any questions?
And water fountain. And
water fountain. Yes. Commissioners, do you have any questions or comments on the rec center of anything that you've heard? Questions or comments about the rec center?
No, I yield to the administration. They know best.
Okay.
How to handle the situation.
And again, these things change pretty much on a weekly basis, Madam Mayor. You've been on the calls,
of course.
So as these orders tend to be relaxed, or in hopes of these orders being relaxed, we can certainly revisit this and keep this on the agenda as a report for you at every single meeting.
Perfect. This is not the last time we'll be talking about this. I know that. So all in favor of taking the manager's recommendation on the West Miami Recreation Center, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? I have no one opposed. Madam Manager, we are taking your recommendation as reported on the West Miami Recreation Center. And John, thank you for your input on this item as well.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
The next item on your verbal report, your report here is after school care.
Correct. At the direction of this office, the park director and Megan conducted a survey to see how many children who reside in the city of West Miami expect or wish to return to the after school care program. We have approximately 146, 149 kids that are registered. That doesn't mean that they all come at the same time. We have more of a continued participation by the kids who attend Sylvania Heights and Somerset that come generally on a weekly basis. As of now, John, unless based on our last conversation, and that was last night, we are probably going to, if the commission proceeds to open the program, and I heard that last night the Miami-Dade County Public Schools decided that they are going to open their after-school care next week. So my memo was written a couple of days ago and things have changed. So I know that they're opening next week, and we would like to see if we can also offer a return to the after-school care program for phasing in. And I think all we could do is maybe phase in 50 to 60 kids maximum that could attend the after-school care program because of the physical distancing requirements, the mask requirements, and also we've asked the park staff to obtain pricing on runway partitions to try to divide the spacing inside the multipurpose facility to adhere to the new norm guide. So we would ask that the after school care program resumed, and initially I had talked about a November 9th date. I believe that school is out on Monday for parochial schools. I'm not sure about Dade County Public Schools, but I do know that Monday we could be ready to open up our after school care program. John, I don't know if you have anything to add to this. I know we would have to make an investment of at least for a month, renting out these runway partitions to create the spacing as required by the new norm guide. Am I correct, John Michael?
Yes.
So instead of November 9th, again, the memo was written days ago based on what Miami-Dade County Public School, the action that they're taking, and based on our staff, we would be able to open on Monday of this coming week.
Does anyone have, I'm sorry, anyone?
I'm sorry,
Madam
Mayor.
Go ahead.
Let me interject something that's important. We would make sure that the child, that we have permission from the parents to take the daily temperature of a child. If the child is ill or coughing or is running a temperature, they cannot stay at the facility because that could be the possibility of a COVID-19 case or an exposure to another type of virus. So we would take extra precaution in having the parents agree to this before the child comes into the city. And also the water fountains will remain closed. So any and all snacks would have to be provided by the parents. I think the best we could do is maybe provide for a nominal fee is purchase water bottles and have the kids purchase those cold water bottles from the city as they do from any vending machine.
Thank you, Madam Manager.
Madam Mayor, may I suggest something?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
I think at some point the manager should be given some latitude in what to do and what not to do, and come subsequently to the City Commission for non-protunct approval. Because what she's describing, we're talking about the future. And let me give you an example. During the fiscal year this year, the governor has issued 246 orders, most of which are directed to the coronavirus. And the county has issued numerous also executive orders. So at some point, I think that I should bring out to the table for some authority for the manager to take the initiative and to do it on an emergency basis, because all of this in here that we're hearing is for the future. So, since things progress and things change every day, so I think that waiting for a commission meeting for the manager to take action is really delaying the good service of the city of West Miami. So that is going to be a proposal that I'm going to present to the City Commission, because the more I hear, the more I edge to that solution. As you can see, we're talking about waiting for the next commission meeting, which is 2 weeks from now. So the manager should have some leeway and in emergency situations and things that could be handled administratively rather than legislatively like we have to do now. I mean, I think it's administrative, it's not legislative, but anyway, it's good for the manager to report it, but it should be reported after the fact and offer the manager some leeway and some discretion as to what to do in a day-to-day administrative basis.
Mr. Attorney, I hear you and I understand you, but you're bringing up something completely different that we're not talking about right now. And I agree, this is something that we need to look at. So are you saying you're going to proceed by presenting us something for consideration in writing? Is that what you're going to do?
Yes, I would do that, but I just wanted to put it on the table while the manager was
okay.
in time to discretion and so on and so forth.
Understood. And it made sense to bring it up at this time because it's exactly what you're talking about. So will you have something ready for our consideration at the next meeting?
Well, possibly, but I have to deal again in a changing world where the where the governor and the mayor of the city of Miami-Dade County change their mind almost every in a daily basis. So I will try to do something by the next commission meeting, but in the meantime, I want you to have that in your mind.
Yes, understood.
Why I am presenting this, okay?
Understood. And I in the context you brought it up, at the time you brought it up, I completely understand. So I look forward to seeing something from you very soon, hopefully by the next meeting, so we could take this into consideration. I agree, it is something that needs to be done. So we'll look forward to that. Let's get back to what we had at hand, talking about the after school care. Madam Manager, was that it for your recommendation?
Yes, and the one thing I failed to provide you with is that we only surveyed West Miami residents first. Obviously, these parents pay taxes, and so we're going to yield to them first. And because we have capacity issues, it's not like we're not inviting other children because we don't want to, but I think we should, just like we did with the community center, I think that our main effort right now would be to start servicing the residents that pay a mill of taxpayer dollars to the Parks and Recreation.
Okay, so just to clarify your recommendation, you're changing the date on your recommendation from November 9th to November,
to October, October 19th, I'm sorry.
October 19th.
Right.
Okay, so you're recommending that we open we start our after school care program on October 19th as opposed to November 9th. Okay, so anything else you need to tell us about this before I open up for questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, commissioners, are there any questions or comments for the manager on her after school care recommendation? John, do you have anything else to add to the manager's recommendation? And are you comfortable with the new date as proposed, which is October 19th?
I don't have anything to add. She pretty much explained everything, and yeah, we're comfortable with the date.
Mr. Penna, can you do what you need to do to be ready for October 19th?
We had the unit repaired this morning again. We'll see how it lasts, and meanwhile, we'll be soliciting the additional quotes.
Okay. Okay, I don't have any questions. I know we will follow the CDC recommendations, and everything is in the best interest of the children. And I know that parents have been asking for this for quite some time. It's all in an effort to get back to as much normal as we can. So I am, let me, all in favor of opening and reopening our after school care as proposed by the manager, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Upon hearing no one opposed, Madam Manager, John Michael, proceed with efforts to reopen our after school care on Monday, October 19.
Again, Madam Mayor, I want to stress the fact that if emergency orders revert back to any kind of restrictions, we will immediately notify the commission, notify the parents. John and I are going to be working very closely together on the phasing in and adhering to any executive or emergency orders issued by those authorities that govern these situations at this time.
Thank you. And I want to note, as always, we've always done, we can be more strict than the county's emergency orders. We cannot be less strict. So that continues. And thank you for that, Madam Manager. Okay, next item is virtual city commission meetings. Madam Manager, what do you have on that?
Thank you. I provided the link to the last emergency order, actually the state executive order on the expiration of the virtual commission meetings issued by the Office of the Governor, which was extended for another month after the last change. The next regular city commission meeting is scheduled for October, and that should be October 21st, which should be, unless the mayor and commissioners say differently, we could actually operate with a virtual meeting again. And then the following meeting after that, I'm just bringing it to your attention to see how you want to handle your meetings moving forward so that the clerk can get an idea of what to prepare for from an agenda standpoint, so that staff can be ready to accommodate your decisions. And just yesterday afternoon, Mr. Villalobos issued a legal opinion on the subject matter, which I forwarded to each and every member of the city commission. So this I leave in your capable hands because it falls under the jurisdiction of the mayor and city commission.
Thank you, Madam Manager. I'm going to turn it around this time. I'm going to give you my thoughts before I open it up to the table for your thoughts. I am in support of and in favor of, if at all possible, continuing our Zoom meetings through the end of the year. We've been very cautious up to this point. I don't see any reason to lessen our cautious approach. As I said before, the virus is still here amongst us. We've had all our meetings, I feel, have been very productive. We've handled our meetings very professionally. We had a few hiccups, with technology at the beginning. We all overcame that. And I just feel they've been very productive. We've even been able to do our planning and zoning. So we've come a long way since our first Zoom meeting. And I don't see any reason to lessen, like I said, our cautious approach. So I am in favor and in support of continuing our virtual city commission meetings via Zoom until the end of the year. I know that is all going to be pending the governor's orders, but I've even talked to my city attorney to look into, because I know other cities have and are already looking into this, into ways to continue our city commission meetings via Zoom even after the governor's order expires. So those are my feelings and my thoughts. We have many reasons to continue being cautious. Now I'd like to hear from the rest of my commission, their thoughts, and then I will open it back up to staff. Commissioners, your thoughts?
I agree with you, Madam Mayor.
I'm in agreement also, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, commissioners. Yes, you're next, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay. Unfortunately, what you just expressed and the commissioners just shared with you the same sentiment. We're governed by Florida statute. We cannot do anything that the Florida statute does not authorize. Florida statute 186.041 and 125.066.
Mr. Attorney, I'm sorry. Could I am sorry to interrupt. Could I have a 2-minute personal break just for 2 minutes, please, before you continue? Because I don't want to miss what you're saying, and I have something I just have to look at right here. So 2 minutes, please, sir. 2 minutes. And I'm going to go off video for 2 minutes, okay? Okay, thank you all, and I'm so sorry. I had a virtual school emergency. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Attorney. I apologize for my interruption, but please continue, sir. You're muted, sir. Okay, you're good. Go ahead.
Correct. The idea of the manager and commissioners, I share, but unfortunately, we don't make laws that governs the presence or the assistance of commissioners at Zoom meetings. This is governed by section 186.041 and 125.066 of Florida statute. So we cannot deviate for that, even though it makes sense what you just said. As I mentioned before, the governor of the state of Florida has issued this year 246 executive orders. Many of these are related to coronavirus. So we don't know in the future what's going to happen or whether he's going to extend it or permit it, because the exceptions have to be authorized by executive orders. So we cannot ourselves, even though other municipalities might do it, I have learned from experience that other people do things that are not correct. And unless we follow the rules set forth by Florida statute, we should comply with what the Florida statute reads. I did make let me find it out, a legal opinion based on the past Attorney General opinions, and I'll show you the discrepancies on how these things change from day to day. Okay, hold on a second. My phone will work. Hold on. In any event, Attorney General Opinion 83-100 states that commissioners holding telephone conference may physically participate, but they cannot vote. And that was an Attorney General 83-100. Yet 82-44 says commissioners attending via Zoom meeting or via telephone, I'm sorry, there was no Zoom at the time, can vote. And then again on the 2003-441, the Attorney General coincided with the previous opinions and said that unless they're physically unable and sick, they can go ahead and vote. So we cannot foresee the future. We cannot say we're going to continue Zoom meetings in the future, because we all depends on the general laws issued by the Florida legislature and exceptions by the governor of the state of Florida issuing executive orders, and the exception by the Miami-Dade County mayor issuing executive orders. So even though others might do it, we have, my recommendation, we have to comply with Florida statute. And there's no way that at this point we can foresee what's going to happen after November 1st. We have to wait until November 1st and make a determination. I'd rather have the proceedings like we have been having. I think they have been very fruitful, very efficient, and today proved that we approved two non-controversial zoning issues. But again, we cannot project opening and continuing, or rather continuing the Zoom meeting after November 1st. So that would be my recommendation.
Thank you for that recommendation and information, Mr. Attorney. And we all, you heard, you know, what our thoughts. So with that said, we will wait until November 1st, and then I'm sure we will be discussing it again, if not sooner. Thank you for that report. And commissioners, thank you for letting me, for giving me your thoughts and agreeing with my thoughts.
Let me stress again something.
Yes, sir.
You see what troubles and what confrontation we attorneys have to make. as you see, one office, the Office of the Attorney General, on one opinion says, no, we cannot vote via phone. And other opinions say, yes, we can vote via phone, provided we're sick. So, as I say, things change. And even the same office, the same legal office of the Attorney General, issues separate opinions. Like courts can come on the same issue, have different rulings. So, as I say, you're wise by deferring this issue until such time as hear from the Attorney General and the Office of the Governor.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So we will await the next emergency order and or amendment from the governor, and we will await the next opinion by the Attorney General. With that said, I know we will be discussing this item again on November 1st. Yes, Madam Manager.
Madam Mayor, just for the record, I met with Juan Pena. We went upstairs. In the event that we have to resume to a new normal, and we are advised that we have to have a in-person meeting, we have made some arrangements upstairs. So I want you to be at ease that we have also taken that into consideration. There will be limitations and we take all the precautions necessary. But I just want you to know that we have already addressed that issue in the event that we have to go back to an in-person meeting.
Perfect. Thank you for your forward thinking and planning on that, but hopefully we won't. Hopefully we'll be able to stay on Zoom until the beginning of the year.
And last item that
yes, sir.
To express. I say I'm very concerned of people of certain age that are more vulnerable than others. So we will strive for having an exception with those that may feel their health compromised because of physical conditions or age condition. I think that it's really not fair to expose people that might be vulnerable to the virus. The virus is here. I'm told by not only the Jackson Memorial Hospital, but Coral Gables and Kendall Regional Hospital, that the virus is not going to subside soon. We might have the virus forward to the following year. So we have to take that into consideration as well. And we'll be fighting for exceptions that certain people may participate personally, and some people might, some commissioners, and including myself, via Zoom. Okay.
Thank you, sir. And those are my thoughts exactly. And I support your comments. That's exactly where I want to go. Like I said, hopefully we can continue our Zoom at least until the end of the year. So thank you for continuing to look into that for us. All right, Madam Manager, I do believe that is the end of your memorandum. One thing we didn't cover when we were talking about parks, because I wanted to limit it just to the rec center at the time. We did not discuss, I want to clarify, Cooper Garden Club and Lorraine Park playgrounds. Those are remaining closed as well as we have the rec center playground closed. Is that correct?
I would like to request that we keep those areas off limits to the public, at least for the next 2 weeks. Let's see what the orders moving forward dictate.
Okay.
From the county. I would take extra precaution. And since we're keeping the rec center playground closed, let's be consistent with all of our other parks.
Okay.
That would be our suggestion.
Thank you, Madam Manager. All in favor of the manager's recommendation on Cooper Park, Garden Club Park, and Lorraine Park, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? I have no one opposed. Madam Manager, your recommendation has been accepted. Okay, thank you, Madam Manager. Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Item H, report by the Office of the City Manager in reference to annexation is sponsored by Mayor Rodriguez.
What is this? Excuse me. Excuse me.
Yes,
what is this? I don't think we have no discussion on this item. This item,
it's item H. It's a report. It's a report by the Office of City Manager, reference annexation. It's item H.
Why is to report? Nothing is to be reported. I was told.
Well, there is a report because we were all made aware of this I should say topic for discussion. So yeah, there's a report. The manager needs to tell us in public altogether because she's already reported to us individually. I've asked that this be reported to us as part of the agenda. Madam Manager, if we could get your report on annexation.
Yes, ma'am. 2 weeks ago tomorrow, I received a call from our district commissioner, Vice Chairwoman Sosa, regarding the possible opportunity for the city to be considered through her efforts for annexation to the west. No boundaries were described at the moment that I spoke to the district Vice Chairwoman Sosa. We didn't get into specifics. Simply, she requested that I address you individually to see if you would be interested in her possibly sponsoring or spearheading other efforts to annex, which had failed in the past, since other communities are going through the same motion through their district commissioners. I contacted each one of you individually, and some of you expressed the desire to bring it for further conversation to the agenda. It was explained to me at that time that if the city put it on the agenda, basically we would have to be made responsible for any costs in the process of annexing our city boundaries. After I communicated to the district vice chairwoman the sentiments from the commissioners that by majority of its members, you wanted to revisit the issue publicly and talk about it again. She said because of the timeline involved on her end, she would withdraw her request at this time. And what she was hoping is if at some point in the near future, those efforts on her part would prove to be successful, she would require a resolution in support of her efforts by the mayor and city commission. That was the end of it. I haven't spoken to her regarding the issue any further than that. She withdrew the proposal.
Thank you, Madam Manager. Any questions or comments to the manager on item H? Okay. No questions or comments, Madam Manager. Thank you for your report. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item 12, consent agenda items, none today. Item 13, good of the order.
I just have something real quick again. Thank you all for all that you've done, that you do every single day, and for all that you will continue to do, seeing us through this and getting us through this. Everyone be safe. Have a great day. I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn. Anybody? Motion. This meeting is adjourned. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.